Man, this shit is getting crazy. Never seems to amaze me. I think the devil's trying to play me. Oh, Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Use Your Own Intelligence podcast. I am your host, Fritz. And today I want to get into this crab in a barrel mentality that people of African descent, as well as just Black people and the culture in general, suffer from any other culture or any other type of European descent, Asian descent, Spanish descent. It's just Black people alone. We suffer from this crab in a barrel mentality far more than any other race on this planet. And it really bothers me. And for those that say, well, Fritz, I mean, everybody does it, but we're at by far the worst at it. And it's really a crippling factor, and it really plays into why we are last economically across the board on the planet, just Black people in general. You name the nation, you name the Black nation, 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, to be honest, we're last economically, okay? And I think most of it has to do with this crab in the barrel mentality, all right? And yes, we can say that foreign, powers have a lot to do with it, but to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's the crab in the barrel mentality that keeps us last from a world and a planet stance, from a worldly and a planet stance. Like, there's nobody else that suffers on this planet more than Black people economically. And I think it's because of this crab in the barrel mentality. And what I want to get into, my first topic of today, it's not being talked about enough. And that's how Ibrahim Traore and the AES Alliance aren't just being talked about enough. If y'all not aware of the AES Alliance, known as part of the Sahel states, that's 3 countries that formed together to basically enforce their sovereignty. And we're talking about Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. It's just not being talked about enough, the greatness that's happening in those 3 nations alone. I don't hear about it. You really got to go do your due diligence to really find out about it. But if you're Black, I would strongly encourage you to really just follow it and just keep in tabs of what's really going on. Okay. Recently, once again, Ibrahim Traore survived another assassination attempt, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're on our 6th and counting. I wouldn't be surprised if more occurs. But, this is what happens when you're striving for greatness as a Black man in a Black nation. He survived another assassination attempt from none other than some disgruntled former military junta members, okay, led by Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, okay? He's a former interim president, which was once ousted by the current president, Ibrahim Traore, okay? Now, what's sad is, with this crab in a barrel mentality, right, people of African descent have, when they notice another Black man in leadership positions doing great things and leading millions to a better life, you would think, it is then you would think that others in power positions would want to join forces in order to see success through good leadership, But instead, it's usually quite the opposite too often that we see that, okay? Now, make no mistakes, this guy, Paul Henry, he went to military school in Paris, receiving his degree in criminology, also receiving his expert certification in management, okay, command and strategy, all right? Now, notice I said he went to school in Paris. That should say a lot already, okay? You can automatically tell, what usually happens and how Western and European powers usually put certain guys in positions to either dismantle, to, destabilize nations. It's just the common practice of what European and Western powers do. They train certain guys to get in the country so they could come in there and manipulate African people for all their resources and everything they have. It's just a common thread. Just go do your due diligence and research on how European and both Western powers have always taken advantage of Africa and their nations, okay? If you don't believe me, go study the Berlin Conference to get a clarity of what the hell I'm talking about, okay? Now, make no mistakes, as I was saying, this guy went to school in Paris, all right, got his degree in criminology, all right? And later in 2010 and 2020, hear this out. Between 2010 and 2020, this guy, Paul Henri Santiago Damiba, held training exercises in the United States. Now, to me, this makes no surprise to me. This makes no surprise that this is the guy that Ibrahim Traore had to remove and to take over and to tell him to go the hell on with his business, because clearly you're going to serve nothing but the interest of Western and American powers. Now, a guy like Ibrahim Traore, he spent most of his studies in Burkina Faso. You know, he stepped out and did a little bit of studying in Morocco, but shortly came back and finished all his studies. So he's pretty much Burkina Faso to the core. Okay, there's no, persuading or influencing or trying to manipulate this guy in any kind of way. That's why he's so heavily backed and trusted by his own people. He's able to lead this type of sovereignty. Okay, and not to forget, recently both Chad and Senegal, right? They've been following suit with the AES, all right? They have both withdrawn their ties to the French government, all right, following the lead, meaning that the French troops who occupied those countries and the others must go. So if you're all French troops from both Chad and Senegal who was dwelling in there, they have to pack their bags and go. Get your military equipment and get the hell out. No more taking advantage. No more manipulating us. No more, basically drying us fucking sick of our resources, just taking everything. It has to come to an end, and you got to really pay attention to these type of movements that are happening in Africa. If you're black in general, just showing the awareness and knowing exactly what's going on, it's just actually something to be proud of. Something to be happy, something to be happy about, something to really pay attention to and just to see where it goes. I'm definitely in support, and I like to see, them continue on and be successful in reclaiming their sovereignty, because for far too long, we're talking millennium now, maybe more, maybe longer, definitely centuries, has Western and European powers been taking advantage of all African nations. And if you don't understand, like I said, what I'm talking about, just go study the Berlin Conference to see where it started. It even started before then, but you'll get a good grasp by studying the Berlin Conference on how bad European and Western powers, including the United States, have always been toward the African people. Now, people, and you're talking about countries who are barely high in resources, they don't need to depend on foreign nations, because foreign nations will always make some type of an excuse to why they need to be there, why their troops needs to be there. Their claim that they need it's a security threat. We're here to protect, and it's always some bullshit excuse to come in there and extract the resources and take full advantage, to filter their money, like local money that Chad, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali would have, will be filtered to some type of a European banking system or some type of a U.S. dollar banking system. It's always some bullshit, one of the two. It's never truly to help the nation and never really truly to provide security for the nation. It's always to extract resources and take full advantage. It's just just do your due diligence and research. It's nothing that you have to believe a random guy on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? This common knowledge has been happening, like I say, for centuries, if not millenniums at this goddamn point. All right. To just name off a few things, Senegal, their main export has always been agriculture and peanuts. All right. But make no mistakes, the country is also rich, all right, and known in mineral deposits such as phosphate of lime, aluminum phosphate. Some of their mineral reserves include petroleum deposits, gold reserves, iron and ore reserves, as well as natural gas. And when we go to Chad, Chad's livestock constitutes an economic resource and is primarily distributed across central Chad. Cotton is one of Chad's most important agricultural products. Rice and wheat are grown along the shores of Lake Chad, and little of either crop is processed commercially. I want you guys to understand that. Little of either crop is processed commercially. That means they're producing these things on their own. They need no foreign aid in our reality. All they need is a shot and to tell European powers to get the hell out of here. Stop taking advantage of us. We don't need you. Just as, that's one thing I need people to understand. African nations do not need foreign help. Black nations in general do not need foreign help. There's a very manipulative ways and system that plays when you're dealing with European and Western powers on how they do black nations, but we don't need your help. Just trust me on that. By far, do your research. All right. And basically in Chad, half the fish that is caught is salted and dried for export. I'm going to say it again. Half the fish, from an agricultural standpoint, is salted and dried for export. All right. So, it's been proven over and over again that Africa is rich in sources, their agriculture, everything is good. They don't need foreign, help for anything. It's just at this point we're getting, black people around the globe are just getting taken advantage of, man. And that's sad. And if y'all really don't know, Burkina Faso, hear this out, right? Burkina Faso alone, by themselves, just paid off a $4.79 billion debt without any foreign bailout. Okay, let me repeat that again so you guys can clearly understand how important and what that means. Okay, Burkina Faso alone just paid off $4.79 billion in debt without any foreign bailouts. That means they've done it domestically. They drew from businesses and their own people domestically in order to pay this debt off. They didn't ask to borrow a damn thing from any European power, from any Western power. They didn't need it. They never have. If that's not an example right now how Africa really can thrive on its own without being taken advantage of, you guys, I don't know what the hell $4.79 billion being swiped away this year alone in debt means to you, but that should really ring a bell. It should really tell you a lot about who Africa is, who black people are in general when they're left alone and not taken advantage of, okay? Now, I do want to say, not all black people possess this crab in the barrel mentality, but I can't honestly say the world would be a better place without people who do think so. And I think we should have a zero tolerance when we're dealing with people of this type of nature. When we're dealing with people with these type of demons, I really think black people should have a zero tolerance. Because it is worse when you're getting taken advantage of by your own people, getting backstabbed by your own people. Foreign nations is kind of like, it's by law, this is just what they do. But what makes matters worse and what makes us stagnant and we're never able to get over it is when we do it to ourselves. And I think no matter who you are across this globe, whether you're African American, you're Haitian, you're Senegalese, you're from Mali, I don't give a damn. As a black person, whenever you see a crab in a barrel mentality, I think it should be a zero tolerance for it. I think there should be some type of wave or TikTok trend to just really start nipping this crab in a barrel mentality. And whenever you see somebody do it, call them out. Let them know how much of a sucker they are, how sad and disgusted you are in them. Like, it shouldn't be happening amongst black people. We cannot afford it. If other people do it, they'll bounce back easy. For us, it's a million times worse just because how we suffer economically alone, right? Which brings me to, into my next topic, all right, about Haiti, all right? And what recently took place in Port-au-Prince with the massacre of Wharf Jeremie, all right, which was led by the orders of a gang leader, Monel Mikano Felix, all right? And from what I'm heard, this guy has been pretty much in power in that sector in Haiti for quite some time now, at least since 2010, I believe. He's been having a history of running that part of Cité Soleil, whatever the case may be. But, further research will definitely confirm that. But this guy, whose fatalities in this massacre have totaled up to 180 people thus far. All right. And if you haven't noticed, right, there's a common denominator to these events that's happening to both African nations as well as black nations living abroad. Right. And if can anybody take a guess thus far? It's not really of a hard guess. Okay, exactly. You name it. It's the French, all right? Or in Haiti's particular situation, it's the French ally, United States, who's always been behind some type of dysfunction of the Haitian people, okay? But at the same time, I can't solely blame either members of the Berlin Conference solely because I've been preaching this, to social media and my platforms for years, the importance of the unification of the Haitian diaspora, to unify under one umbrella, one organization to raise funds for economic projects to stabilize Port-au-Prince, to say the least. All right. We can't act like it can't be done. I just gave you examples of how these countries are stepping up and they're doing things on its own. We as Haitian people, we can't act like it can't be done. You understand what I'm saying? And I see people like Bertrude with, PH4 Global, which happens to be, doing wonderful things in northern Haiti where it's safe for the time being. Okay, we also see people like Booster John, who's stationed in Canada with the Booster John Foundation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. All right, I could keep naming people with great foundations that help Haiti that are Haitian or of Haitian descent, right? But none of these people I've come to notice are thinking, big in terms of uniting most, if not all, diaspora. You know what I'm saying? In which I see the only way that Haiti will ever get out of this mess it's currently in. Okay. And to make matters worse, I've been told, numerous times under, plenty of social media posts that I myself should launch, a website and advocate for the Haitian Diaspora Committee. All right. I've always been, no matter how many times I get under these people who have hundreds of thousands of followings, they have a great following. I'm like, hey, you know what would be great? What would be great if you guys all just have a conversation, just get together and talk and unify? I mean, you claim you love your country so much, but look how bad we're doing. We're literally the worst country one of the worst countries in the world, top 10 to be exact. If you don't understand how bad Haiti is, you go do your due diligence. You will find out quick that it's top 10, one of the worst countries in the world. And if you haven't noticed, recently, what Syria literally just has fallen right now. Their leader ran off to Russia, and when I see what's going on in Syria, it's no different than what I think it can easily happen to Haiti if our people do not unify for one cause. Like I've seen everybody from a selfish standpoint with their organizations, and they're doing their thing, and they're doing great things. They're helping, but I want you guys to understand, with everybody doing their own thing, okay, Haiti's always going to be stagnant. We're easily going to be penetrated. We're easily going to be taken over. Like, foreign nations are going to constantly be able to do what they want to do. They're going to be able to get into our government, penetrate it, and destabilize it, pick certain members so they can fully take advantage of, as it's always been for Haiti and any black nation around the world. And I got to ask people, when is enough enough? When do we, as Haitian people, really say, okay, this is the opportunity for us at least to unite? And every time I'm in these websites, every time I'm on these platforms and I'm telling people and I'm encouraging them in the comment section, everybody is screaming out, great idea, bright idea. And they're always telling me we're working on it. But I don't see any significant progress for unification of a diaspora by the millions. A revolution that took place, very similar to the one in 1804 that took place, where millions of people are coming together for a great cause, for our sovereignty. Because right now, Haiti does not have any sovereignty. We're being ran by outside forces. Do y'all not understand that? So instead of, constantly hearing people say, well, why don't you do something about it? Well, why don't you start an organization? Why don't you open up the website? I decided to do just that. Okay. I decided to open up a website, useyourown.intelligence.org, right? And in this website, you can not only register, but you can donate. But I don't want you guys to donate $1 to me. I don't want you to donate a damn cents to the cause of uniting the diaspora to raise funds for economic projects to stabilize Port-au-Prince, to say the least, because that's what I really want to focus on. I see everybody else around Haiti's, they're constantly bragging about how, other parts of Haiti are good. But don't y'all understand our capital is in shambles? I can't even ride into Port-au-Prince without worrying about gang members or whatever it may be shooting at the airplanes that are coming in, penetrating the interior of the airplane, where we then have to the pilot has to force himself to the Dominican Republic for an emergency landing. As God is my witness, this is what's taking place in Haiti. Well, now we have the American Airlines have banned flights indefinitely from going there. I believe at one point it was Spirit and JetBlue who suspended it, but everybody is just not wanting to go in Haiti. It's getting that bad. And for my Haitians that claim they love Haiti, and for the ones, that are from Port-au-Prince and just the surrounding areas, I'm trying to figure out, which is millions, by the way, millions in the diaspora. What's stopping you guys from really uniting and coming together under one umbrella, one organization? Because it can easily be done, because I see you guys do it every time there's a carnival. When it's time to party, laugh, shits and giggles and dance, I see Haitians unite quicker and organize like it's nothing. But when it actually comes for a great cause, there's always this pullback I don't understand. But make no mistake, I have a website, Use Your Own Intelligence Podcast. useyourown.intelligence.org. If you go to that website, there's a place where you can register, and that's all I want people to do. For all my Haitians that claim they truly care, and they want significant change for the country, just register. Do not send $1. Don't donate anything, because by God, I will send it back to you. And the reason I want to send it back to you, because Haiti is not even ready for that yet. We're not ready to receive a donation yet, because there's been so much corruption in the government and what's been happening with the money that's been donated. I don't want anybody to donate anything. What I want with this registration, I want to see millions of Haitians in diaspora registered, and I want to see the conversations flowing on what we're going to do and who we're going to appoint to certain sectors, whether it's in health, education, I just want to see us by the millions having these conversations and starting to vote and create a voting system where we can place people in these sectors and we could start funding these sectors that need it the most in order for us to actually stabilize our capital in Port-au-Prince. This beautiful island with so much potential, with so many beautiful beaches that should be having people dying to come over here on vacation. And I'm not talking about Labadee that's currently rented out or leased to the English right now, to Great Britain. We're not talking about Labadee. This great, beautiful island, but we don't at this point own our Labadee, which is a great, beautiful part of Haiti. But right now, the Brits have taken complete control over that for the next 100 years, I believe, on lease. I want Haitians to really start owning and taking ownership and true sovereignty in what they're doing. So if we can just, if y'all don't mind, organize by the millions, get on the website, just register. Don't send a dime. Just show me, hey, I'm a Haitian, I care. It takes a couple of seconds to literally register. To show me that, okay, I could start communicating with you. We could start branching ideas. We could start, finding people who can be responsible that we can trust and start putting them in charge of certain sectors where we can then start building on our infrastructure so we can have a country that we can be proud of and go back on and bring our kids back to, ladies and gentlemen. Because at this point, that's not in it. For all those who have organizations and you're doing good, cats to you, but it's not going to be enough. Haiti is in such a dire and bad situation that it's going to really take something miraculous. A movement such as we did in 1804, where we had a revolution, where we united by the millions to gain our sovereignty. We're going to have to do the same thing back and say we don't have to do it through violence and by force as we did to gain the nation. We don't have to. We already got it. We just need to unite from an economic standpoint, have conversations that are meaningful so we could have some significant change and progress being done. And I want to start off in Port-au-Prince by rebuilding the infrastructure so we can at least have planes that can land, so we can at least do the basics that we need to get our country back to where it needs to be. I would love that, ladies and gentlemen. So if y'all don't mind, take your time, and I'm encouraging y'all by the millions to really go register at useyourown.intelligence.org, just to go sign up and register to receive updates so we can begin to have these conversations on stabilizing Port-au-Prince, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. And that's basically to say the least. All right. Moving on to my next topic. All right. I wanted to get into, because, here on this podcast, I like to talk about the Black experience, the Haitian experience, and overall the American experience. And I want to get into the, my Black experience here, stepping into Black entertainers and what's going on in America with our Black entertainers and this crab in the bucket mentality and how it needs to stop, right? And the first rapper that comes to my mind when we're talking about entertainers, man, it's no other than 50 Cent, who, whenever a rapper is facing allegations, all right, will always be the one in the forefront to rub it in their faces, making matters worse, right? Then he'll have the audacity to call it in the name of competition, right? As if recently Jay-Z will have time to want to, joke about these serious allegations in which he's facing on raping a 13-year-old girl. 50 thinks this is the time to be competitive and joke as if it's a joking matter. See, a lot of people, they ride the coattails of entertainments, but I see the bullshit through them. I don't play games with them, man. And recently, and this is not the first time I've called 50 Cent out on my podcast, but I've been noticing a lot of sucker behavior from this man. And nobody else is, I think a lot of people are either, intimidated by him or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people, or they might just deride him. But nobody really wants to call out BS when they see celebrities. They're too caught up in the talent and all the other bullshit, I guess the fame and the glamour. And to the point where when they see something that is flawed, they won't say anything about it. But don't worry. I will always be there to say something about what's flawed. You know what I'm saying? And he's cracking jokes about Jay-Z and these allegations, which are not even true yet, by the way. Okay, and plus, and it's something from a civil, court. It's not even criminal. All right. And what's funny about 50, then he would wonder why, he has people in the comment section telling them he's next, right? He feels as if, now he's a victim and he's getting bullied, but he's the main one always doing the bullying and then the joking and, and the attacking, what I mean? And to me, it needs to stop, what I mean? At some point, 50 is proving that he's more of a cancer than he is a help in this rap game, in this society. And to me, you cannot do both good and bad. Because when you're doing the bad and you're doing the sucker shit, it's going to outweigh the good that you're doing. Yes, I get it. He's in Shreveport. I get it. He's doing his movie thing, but most of 50's movies is about sex, drugs, and violence. Of course, you're giving people jobs, but look at the message that 50 gives. It's sex, drug, and violence. That's what his movies are about. Well, we want to talk about BMF, power, raising Cain, whatever you want to talk about. Everything he does is about sex, murder, violence. And then he said, well, I went to Shreveport and we helped the community. Okay, but you're weighing out the good and the bad. I see so much better in you. I see so much better potential in you. I know you're capable of making products that ain't about sex, money, and murder that drives up your sales. There's plenty of things you can do. You can collaborate with people to do better. But that's just my opinion. I mean, y'all rock with it. Y'all do what y'all want. But that's just how I feel about it, right? And the worst part about it is he has all this energy for, entertainers where, he'll talk about the Jay-Z's, the Dame Dashes, and whoever else he may be beefing with, right? But he didn't have the same energy when Diageo robbed him for $18 million. And if y'all don't know who Diageo is, there's a couple of firms that were put together, I believe. I can't remember the two firms' names, but they're an alcoholic. I mean, they're an alcohol. They're in the alcohol business, the wine and spirits, what have you. And 50 was on InvestFest confessing that they robbed him or got him for $18 million. And you would think that, because I can't remember when Jay-Z got you for $18 million. I can't remember when a Kanye West got you for $18 million. I can't remember when a Dame Dash got you for $18 million. But you got a lot of trolling and a lot of slick shit to say about black folk. But when we're talking about a group like Diageo that gets you for $18 million, you ain't got no energy for Diageo. Which makes me think you on some sucker shit. As tough as you claim you might be, when those white powerful men, they rob you for $18 million, you keep your mouth shut. And you claim now, I listen to my publicist. My publicist says I should shy away from that. 50, you don't shy away from nothing. That's sucker shit you doing, bro. That's sucker shit you doing, because you're quick to talk about black folks, and this is the crab in the barrel. The crab in the bucket mentality I'm constantly seeing, and I can't stand when y'all don't want to call it out. Don't worry. I'll be here to call it out for y'all. Somebody need to talk to Fifth and tell them to cut the bullshit out. That shit is corny to me. Y'all don't feel like that's corny? Why doesn't 50 have the same energy for Diageo? I want him to go at Diageo the same way he's going at the Jays, the Dame Dashes, and everybody else he always has something to slick black folk on the internet about. I would love for him to have that same trolling energy, because he don't let up. I want him to be on, just like he's on Ja Rule and them, Irv Gotti. I want him to be on Diageo like that. Diageo got you for $18 million. I would love for you to troll them and talk about how bad they are. I really would, Fifth. All right? And then, we're so distracted. Another thing that bothers me, from this Drake and this Kendrick thing, just to move on from 50, man. We got this Drake and, and this Kendrick, which I started from, if y'all don't know, if you go back a few episodes, I always thought this beef was corny. It was a corny beef, just Drake and Kendrick thing. The best thing that ever came out of this beef was the way Kendrick Lamar was able to unify gang members that really had beef for years, and he was able to bring a truth to them and calm a lot of that violence down and bring the guys on stage and really dap each other out, dance, and have a good time together. That's the best thing that ever came out this beef. But everything else to me was corny. All right, and from the beginning, a few episodes ago, like I told you, this beef was corny. But it's making front page headlines as if we don't have more important topics to discuss. What made this beef corny to me is the fact that both these artists are fans of each other, ladies and gentlemen, and always have been, despite this competitive nature they've had towards one another. All right, who recalls this interview, all right, from Kendrick right here? I want to play this interview. Who recalls this interview right here? Let me play this right quick.
Off that, shout out to Drake. He reached out. How did that happen? I sat down with Drake in Toronto a while back when I did my first show out there. He called me up, man. We had a few drinks, and he always said he was appreciative of my music. I've always been a fan of his music, and we've just been chopping it up since, man. And hit me up one day and said, you know what, handpick, man. I want you to be on this tour. And, you know, it's a lot of artists out there, man, you know, that could have been on that tour with him. And for him to just, you know, sit there and respect my music, get the same mutual respect, that's a blessing within itself. So shout out to Tristan.
And with that being said, this beef has always been corny to me, to be honest with you. And I think the best thing that came out of this beef, to be totally honest with you guys, is when he was able to form a truce amongst the gang members in LA. All right, when he got them all on stage and people that were beefing with each other for decades, you know, they would have set aside their differences, and he really united the West Coast. It's something I've never seen before, you know what I'm saying, from a rapper. Being able to, you know, cause that much of positivity out of a rap beef. But as far as, you know, picking a side and losing any interest in Drake at this point, there's really no love lost on either side. I always thought it was corny. I didn't even understand them. For them dudes to be truly fans of each other. And I guess, and I get it, it's a competition thing, but you can see at some point where it's gotten too far. You're accusing the guy of being a pedophile, whatnot, and now you got Drake suing record labels. To me, a lot of this stuff could be considered a distraction. And, you know, the only thing to me that hurt Drake, to be totally honest with you guys, in this whole battle, in my opinion, was him telling Kendrick he rapping like he trying to free the slaves, okay? To me, that was one of the dumbest bars to me, and there's really no explaining that bar in a sense. Like, what producer was in the studio with him when he thought that was a creative thing to say and released it? You know what I mean? That can't be your friend, Drake. Whoever producer was in there, whether it was 40 or whoever the hell it may be, when you heard you're rapping like you're trying to free the slaves, to me as a producer personally, I would have shut it down. I'd be like, Joe, we can't let that one go. You're going to take an L for that. There's no justifying that bar. There's nothing you can say. It's one of the dumbest bars I've ever heard in rap history. How are you even going to justify? Somebody was to ask you to explain. What did you mean by you rapping like you trying to work? There's no explanation. We'll wait for you. You can say what you want. But at the end of the day, we're just gonna wait for you to say, man, that shit was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't know what I was thinking. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's one of those distractions, man, and I hope this crab in the barrel mentality, I hope we're not losing any love lost for either rapper, because it's good to see these guys re-collaborate, or to collaborate to begin with, man, and really start doing some positive things for the culture, man, and stop beefing and acting like this, you know, because I tell people all the time, this competitive nature is more of a cancer than it is a health, you know what I'm saying, for the culture. A lot of this beef ends up, you know, lasting for years, and guys won't talk to each other, they won't collab. They won't start doing things for the youth to show good examples. Like, it really becomes serious. Guys really start taking this thing personal. It really becomes a distraction and becomes more, you know, this entertainment aspect. You know, I know people want to laugh and get a good, you know, some good entertainment out of this. But, man, it's really a crab in a barrel mentality that we do when we doing this battle, because I don't see no other coaches doing that. And when they do, and if they do, I'm pretty sure these guys get along just well. They don't stop collaborating. They don't start doing things from, you know, as far as, you know, getting together, helping the youth and things of that nature, making music together. That doesn't stop. A rap is the only thing that really this thing could really spill over, and really people start dying and stop talking to each other and collaborating and doing great things together. This is the only culture where we do this. So as much as y'all might get an entertainment from it, I'm gonna call out the bullshit I see in it, and I just hope we stop being distracted by that bullshit. You know what I mean? And I could also see why Drake is claiming to have no friends, because, like I say, there's no way in hell you could justify that bar, and there's no producer that really should have let that one go without letting his mans know, like, bro, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? We really can't do that. And and y'all. You know, and y'all wonder why, in all honesty, I always praise a guy like Dame, you know what I'm saying, and his vision and being independent despite the bullshit that he just dropped on BET, man. I got to tell y'all, Dame Dash has really been doing good as far as shining his way from beefs and all this other shit that I see a lot of these guys getting caught up in. Recently, you know, he did drop some bullshit, I thought, you know, called Honor Up on BET. And the only reason why I can say it's bullshit is because I'm just tired of the culture creating sex, money, and drug films. Okay, but outside of that, I think he does a lot of other things. If you go to American New, that he's doing that, for kids and things of that nature. It's not always about sex, money, and drugs. But I'm really tired of that. Whether that's 50 Cent and BMF, Damon Honor Up. I mean, we just got to do better with the messaging overall that we're putting out there to the youth. Okay, we just really got to do better, guys. It'd be amazing to see these black men collab on things, that's really helpful and that could really inspire these young guys to not just think about sex, money, and drugs, man. Because I see that's a common trend in the rap game. And when are we going to really take that really sharp turn and really start doing other things, man, and really showing that we're more capable of just sex, money, and drugs? Because that seemed to be the main drive for what sells and entertains our culture and our black people. But I'm really tired of that bullshit, to be really serious. We got to cut this crab in the barrel mentality, being disguised as competition. Because it's really wearing the culture now. So for, Dame and 50, this little bullshit y'all going to, or y'all competing with, whatever y'all competing with, y'all movies and y'all studio action, man, just really start thinking about collabing, man. It'll be better off for us, the culture and the youth. All right. And with that being said, man, I want to move on to my other topic. I don't want to stay on entertainment, but I know that just what gets everybody going and seems to be getting the most likes, unfortunately, in the world that we live in this cold world. But I want to move on to the final topic, man. And I want to get into this brilliant plan that Elon Musk has on auditing the IRS and getting rid of them. And in general, why people are getting tired of the IRS. You know what I'm saying? With Trump, with this DOGE, which he has lined up with Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, I gotta take my hats off to Trump on just talking a good game and the people he's putting in place to really, put pressure on the government to really do right. You know what I mean? Because I can honestly say from the outside looking in, you can tell the government has really been at this guy, regardless of him winning and sweeping Kamala by a hell of an amount of votes. He's the only president throughout my adult life that I've really witnessed that really is talked the best game at pressuring the government and doing right by the people. Because we haven't really seen the government do right by the people since I've been an adult at all. All right. It's always been some type of manipulation with our tax brackets. With the tax system and where our money is going to. But him putting Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in this position, I think at least gives us a lot of hope, because right now it's a lot of good talk being done, on Trump's behalf. If you just listen to what his plans is on free speech, I love what he's saying about that. His plan to end wars, that's a great idea. We sick and tired of our tax dollars going over there. His plans on firing the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, and making America the crypto capital of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, all this sounds great, and I'll be lying if I told you, my life wouldn't improve with all these stances coming into fruition. I got to be honest, because I've certainly been affected by all these things mentioned against us, from free speech, tax dollars being spent overseas for wars, which I know majority of the American people would rather not be a part of. You cannot tell me there's one person that's watching this and say, yes, please send my money over there to Israel to just create a genocide in Palestine. Yes, and please send my money over there to that crooked European government over there in Ukraine. Yes, the most crooked government in Europe, Ukraine. Yes, send my money over there, please. I really love it. My hardworking tax dollars. There couldn't be a better place. I promise you. Those two places, those billions of our dollars is going. Nobody's going to agree with all that. So, him talking all this good game, I can't really complain. You know what I'm saying? And I would really like to see America and our people wake up and really start rallying behind these things and putting pressure on Trump. If y'all don't remember, a few episodes ago, I've already predicted that Trump was coming back because he was talking the best game. You really couldn't beat what he was saying. I just like to put the pressure on the people. I can care less about talking about who's better at what in politics. I could care less. It's you, the people, that really I get upset about. Because you guys rally behind these people, but yet you put zero to no pressure on them when they're not carrying out the duties and the things that they said they were going to do. So I'm going to be paying attention to the people. You in the comment sections, you people that are running your mouths, I'm really going to see how much pressure and what kind of energy you have as these 4 years are going to take, these 4 years to come. How much are y'all really going to see pushback when you don't get your way in what this man said he was going to do? Whether it's Elon, Trump, all these guys he's put in position. I really, by God, I hope you, the people, are sitting there and you're on their ass about, hey, you said you were going to do this. You were going to make this the crypto capital of the world. You were going to fire Gary Gensler. You were going to take care of this free speech. Because I could tell you, free speech has not been free at all. I've been trying to pay for promotions, whether it's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. They've all been shut down. They've all been shut down. And I've not said anything that deserves any type of ban, any type of negativity. Like, everything has been truth. But since it didn't fall in a certain, agenda for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you have it. All my promotions, 99.9% of my promotions have been shut down. Things that I've come out of pocket for and paid for. So if that's not an attack on our free speech, that's one thing I got to agree on Trump with. We have an attack on speech. They removed the man off Twitter, for crying out loud. They did a lot of things to him, so he has also suffered from this as well. So when we're talking about a guy with a good talk game, man, I'm looking forward to the things he's saying. Am I hopeful? Do I think that's going to come through? I don't believe so. But then again, I can't say they're not, because I have a strong feeling the American people are really at a zero tolerance at this point. I think we've been through enough. You know, if the Capitol Hill riot then didn't explain a lot about how we're just pretty much sick and tired of government playing with us and our tax dollars and our lifestyles, I think this is the time. I don't even think Trump can afford not to do what he says. He's been talking too much of a game, especially with an attempt on his life. I don't think he will play with people anymore. I mean, it would be the worst thing for him to do not to follow up on what he said. So if what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, I think we got a great next 4 years. So if you're not investing in crypto or the stock market, I really feel sorry for you. You should have been doing it anyway. But I think, we got a lot to look forward to if this guy carries out and says and do what he said he was going to do. All right. And with that being said, I don't have much more to talk about. I appreciate you guys giving me an ear and listening today on the Use Your Own Intelligence podcast. And have a great day.
Man, this shit is getting crazy. Never seems to amaze me. I think the devil's trying to play me. Oh, Lord. But I'm a different type of nigga. Worth about 5 or 6 figures. Once that profit get bigger, you know. I gotta triple up on this cheese. Take a flight right over them seas. Maybe make a trip to Haiti. Who knows? I just know that I have to go get it. And America's looking so hectic. Make you wanna grab the tech by the second. That's love. How the fuck it come to that? Most these niggas out here rats, and that statement can't be tracked. Yeah, I know. But these crackers is doing the sentencing. In the jail, you niggas repenting then. On the block, you be killing your men again. I know. This system been a trap. This shit must collapse. We ain't about far ways from that. Yeah, they know. We gon' get through regardless. All that small talk so harmless. I'll pop us under this garment. Whoa. It ain't gotta come to that. Niggas been for peace till I proceed and really state the facts. These fuckers can't stand the fact we black. Jay Blake caught 7 to the back. And then I caught Aubrey with some armory, trying to run the 4 flat. I'm trying to keep my sanity intact. But the shit is getting deeper. Every time I watch the news, there's some white dudes playing like the Grim Reaper. Nigga, I ain't never been a sleeper. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. But I swear to God, you touch my doorknob, you niggas gonna meet your maker. This country getting faker. They gon' try to outdate ya. For the immortalized, they gon' prophesize, you ain't gotta speak the nature. Just when you caramelize, it's when they see demise, it must be second nature. You can do us all a favor. Go ahead and catch the vapors. Act civilized and match your eye for eye, cause there won't be no one to save ya. And I'm a lovable type of neighbor. Might run you a couple of favors. But when you cross the line, is when I see divide. I ain't forgiving you like your savior. Is you loving this type of behavior? I'm just a man, I ain't trying to persuade you. Hey.